Slamdown is sponsored by WWE SmackTalks, Zombie Generation, and Impact Fan Nation. Welcome to another live episode of Slamdown Livestream with me, your host, Ashley Friend. Today we haven't got Charles with us because he's feeling under the weather. Charles, we wish you all the best. Hope you get better soon and you can make it back next week. You will be missed on this show. So, Impact Wrestling. Now, I like this show and I didn't like this show at the same time. I don't know. I think because Slammiversary was so good and on another level, I was hoping it to be on that level, which in hindsight it won't be. You know, it's like when you have a WrestleMania, for example, and you come to the next day of Raw, is good, but it's not as good as WrestleMania itself, you know. But saying that, it's still an amazing Impact. You know, everything they're doing is brilliant. The Super X Cup is back. Fantastic. You know, we're just waiting for the World X Cup to come back now. All the stuff that made us fall in love with Impact Wrestling back in the day is returning. And I'm so impressed. The only thing for me that needs to be worked on is the women's division. I have said this quite a few times. You know, there is a lot of talent out there that Impact could pull in. You know, you've got Kaylee Ray out there. You've got, is it Santa Guerrero? I always get her name wrong. You know, there is a lot of potential out there. There's a lot of wrestlers I'm actually surprised that haven't been announced for the Mae Young Classics. So there's a lot of people that's not involved in that tournament that Impact could sign and build on. The X Division is back to what it used to be. I still feel that like they could bring a lot more bigger stars in. Like I've said this before. You know, I'd love to see Ricochet. Absolutely love to see Ricochet in that division. But things are building. Things are going forward at last. You know, everything's better. Storylines are better. Angles are better. I know that they're calling it GFW Impact from now on. There has been an image come out where they took the wrestling out of Impact, which I personally believe is better. You know, you can't have the name Global Force Wrestling, Impact Wrestling. Having Global Force Wrestling Impact, it's a lot better. And it reminds me of the old days. You know, the old days where the Impact Zone was called Impact. It was never Impact Wrestling. So, going that manoeuvre, I think is brilliant. The only thing for me, I would like to see the blue be dropped. I would like them to go back to being red. I know it's only a colour scheme, but I feel to give it more of that authentic old vibe, they should go back to the red. And then that way, even though it's the merger with GFW, it will feel like it's more old school. It will feel like it's not the GFW taking over. It just feel like it's just the name. And honestly, that's why I think the way they need to go with it and the way they should go with it. You know, because we've got so much elements of the past. You know, if you look at a lot of the veterans they've brought back, you know, we've got LAX, we've got Loki, we've got Sanjay Dutt. You know, they're bringing a lot of the old guys back, but they're also bringing a lot of new talent in. You know, Desmond Xavier is probably one of the top guys in the X Division. Now, the reason I say that is down to his ability in the ring, and I want to see a lot more from him. I'm happy ACL is in the Super X Cup. I'm just hoping that that is a permanent signing, and it's not an appearance for the Super X. Really, 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 really hoping that. You know, they've got a lot of potential here. They can go really, really far with Impact Wrestling. And like I said, I'm excited. I can't remember the last time I was excited for Impact. You know, it's... And one thing I have noticed, and I know I keep saying and a lot, but you look at Great Balls of Fire. Now, WWE pay-per-views have been kind of lacking, kind of plain, kind of boring, but Balls of Fire wasn't. It felt authentic. It felt like an old WWE pay-per-view with the way everything was done. You know, we saw Braun Strowman in the back of an ambulance be rammed into a truck. We haven't seen... The last time we saw something like that was when the NWO was in the WWE. So it makes me feel like WWE noticing how good Impact is getting and improving their product because they don't want Impact to chase them. So like it's like I've said before, competition is good. When you've got competition, you're always going to have one outdoing the other, trying to be better than the other. And it will make the WWE better. Because Christ, WWE's been pretty damn awful for quite a few years. You know, Impact has been bad for quite a few years. Impact's now on the right stead. And, you know, I'm looking forward to see what goes on with Impact. But let's dig into the show. We saw at the start of the show, LAX in the clubhouse talking about a new member. I started thinking, when they announced a new member to me, the person I thought of straight away was Rey Mysterio. Now, Rey Mysterio's done some appearances in Lucha. He's not in Ring of Honor. He's not signed to anybody like that. So I was really hoping the possibility, and it could still happen. You know, I think Rey Mysterio joining Impact and joining the LAX would be a good move. But if they did that, then I would also get him to drop the mask. You know, because that way you're refreshing his character. You're going to the WCW Rey Mysterio. You know, the last time we saw Rey Mysterio and Conan together was the Filthy Animals, which I actually quite like the Filthy Animals when it was Billy Kidman, Rey Mysterio, Conan, and I can't remember the woman's name. But that's what I think they should use. You know, takes off the mask, puts the bandana on. Rey Mysterio has been at the back of Impact, so there is a possibility there. I know people have been saying about, I think Paige will be at Impact. I don't think so. I don't think the WWE will release her. I know there's been a lot of pictures of her looking from behind the curtain, and then at Slammiversary her wearing the mask. She will not be in Impact. The WWE want to keep hold of her, especially doing the movie and everything else. She hasn't done anything wrong. She hasn't been bad-mouthing them. So you've got to look at it from that angle. I do not believe Paige would suffer. You know, because the WWE wouldn't want to lose money anyway. Because they know Paige is in high demand. So, you know, people that are hoping that she joins Impact, I don't see it. Honestly, I just don't see it. We can be hopeful, but it's not going to happen. But anyway, like I said, I was hoping it was going to be Rey Mysterio, but we was going to find out late in the night. Then we saw Alberto El Patron, the new unified GFW World Champion, enters the Impact Zone. He comes down with his father, Dos Caros, and his brother, El Hijo de Doros, and announces that his brother has been signed to Impact Wrestling, which was quite an interesting fact, you know, that they've added someone else to Impact, and it was kind of weird that it was announced on a taping and not, you know, through the news and stuff like that. We saw Lashley interrupt the celebration because Alberto says he'll answer anybody that wants an opportunity to come down, and Lashley came down. Lashley told Alberto it was a fluke, insults his relative, Dos Carlos slaps Lashley, things are up, referees come down, both Lashley and El Patron want to fight each other, and we're going to go and get it. So we are going to see them two face off again. Backstage we saw Bruce Pritchard holding a meeting with Josh Matthews, Jeremy Borash and the Pope, and he tells them if any more physical altercations, then they'll be fired. It was quite interesting that they went with a 3-man booth of having Josh, Jeremy Borash and the Pope. I didn't think they were going to go that way with it. I thought they were going to try and keep it to the 2 people. But obviously they've gone 3 men. But I don't know how long for though, because I've said this before, I don't think Josh should stay as a commentary. He's got too much charisma. He's too good on the mic to be stuck in commentary. I do feel they should put him in as a manager. I've said this for a long time, and I do feel it would be better served for Josh to play that role. I'm honestly, it's what I believe. You know, you can't stick someone who's that good on the mic in commentary and just leave them there. I do feel it'd be better, you know, have him as a manager. You know, I think it would be the better way. And I will talk more about managers when I get to the next part, because there's something else that really annoyed me. But anyway, after that we had Kobe taking on Sanjay Dutt in a non-title match. Started as a good solid match. You know, Sanjay Dutt got the win in the end. Trevor Lee came down, attacks Sanjay Dutt from behind and takes the X Division belt. Now, I'm surprised they've done it this way. I would have liked to see Andrew Everett and Trevor Lee match. I still want to see that. But maybe that's what they're going to do. They're going to leave that for a while and then bring it to us. And so we're more like, oh my God. But we'll have to wait and see. After that, we saw Mackenzie Mitchell interview the veteran of war, Eddie Edwards, and the returning Grado. Now, I'm happy Grado's back. What I'm not happy with is his entrance music. Now, I know it's hard for them to get Madonna's theme, but I think they should still try. You know, because when you have the theme and you have the lyrics on it, the fans cheer for it. Now, I don't know if they can get away with using a cover version or something like that. Try and going down that route to see if they can get away with it that way, avoid the copyright issues. Because when we've seen videos of after the show finishes, and we've seen them use the music and we've seen fan footage of this, we see everybody dancing to it. We see Grado come down. Even Alberta came down dancing with Grado. You know, it had that good, fun vibe. And we lost that. We're losing that with Grado not being allowed to use that song. I think Impact needs to work a way so they can use that song. I think it would be better for Grado. Because like I said, I think he's underutilised. You know, Grado's always been about the big music, the big over-the-life character, which he is the big over-the-life character, but I think he needs that music. But anyway, that would lead into a 8-man tag team match with Eli Drake, Chris Adonis, I hate this, for Harley Baha, and Mario Boccara. I hope I've said that right. Against the Veterans of War, Wilcox and Mayweather, Eddie Edwards, and Grado. Now, it was a good, solid match. You know, we didn't really see much of Grado, though. We see little bits of him hit the flip-flop fly, but we didn't really see that much. But it was a quick-paced match. It was kind of quick. We saw Eddie connect with the Boston Knee Party to Boccara for the win. After the match, we saw Joseph Park. Right, now this is the bit that annoyed me. Why are we seeing Joseph Park? Slammiversary, we saw the return of Abyss. We saw James Mitchell. Now, in my opinion, if you've brought Abyss back in that way, continue with it. That's what I would have liked them to have done with this. Continue with it. Have James Mitchell and Abyss together. That's the way I think they should have gone with this. Because I feel with Abyss's age now, they could have done this as his last hurrah, his last run. Or, I've said this before, or make a stable. You know, Abyss, James Mitchell, Rosemary. I'd even put Bram in the mix. That's who I'd make as a little stable. And maybe bring someone else in and rival LAX. You know, have it the Hive or the Demonic Hive or something along those lines. As I feel that would have fit in. We didn't get it, but we don't know. You know, I don't know what happened at tapings. So there's still a possibility of that happening. We could see that, them do something like that. We'll just have to wait and see. But that's the way I want it to go. And I feel the Joseph Park character, yeah, I get it, but mix them together. You know, I don't like him pretending to be a lawyer, and I think it's too far-fetched. You know, it's just so close to Kane and the monster. It's too similar. I think Impact need to go and be a bit different on this. That's what I honestly believe. I think it would work better being slightly different. And him, you know, realising I am Abyss. And then him saying, I'm Joseph Park. I'm not a lawyer. I'm a monster. There's a monster inside of me. And then him take that stupid tracksuit off. And say, when this mask's on, the monster inside of me's out. Drop the whole lawyer thing. Go that way with it. I think fans would be more engaged with that angle if they went that way with it. I just think the way they're going with it at the moment, I don't like to be harsh, but it's just meh. Especially for me, it's just But anyway, we saw Joseph Park giving Grado some papers and them two talking, and led to Grado leaving the ring. So, as we know, Grado's come back now because there was issues with his visa, which have managed to be sorted. That's why he hasn't even done anything in the US really, because he's been having visa issues, which seem to have been sorted now. So, like I said, we're going to have to wait and see where it goes from there. There's a lot of potential in this. You know, I'm hoping that he's Grado in the right way. Because I've seen Grado before in ICW and he's a phenomenal talent. Really, really is a phenomenal talent. And I'm just hoping he doesn't get lost in the sauce. After that, we saw Matt Sydal against Braxton Sutter. I'm not a big fan of Braxton. I'll be honest, I just really, really am not a big fan. I'll say it's his ability I'm not a fan of. I think, you know, there's better wrestlers out there. I know King of the Mountain is a fan of him. I'm not. I think he's too bland. If I'm being completely honest with you, I find him just too bland. But I love Matt Sydal. You know, I liked him in the WWE as Evan Bourne. And I'm liking him in the Impact Zone. I think he's got a lot of promise, a lot of potential, and he could go far in the Impact, especially in the X Division. I do believe that we will have Austin Aries return at some point after his 30-day clause. But again, it felt kind of quick. But we did see him argue with Ali. So I wonder if they're going to be splitting that team up. Then we went back to LAX Hideout. Conan saying they're going to raise the level of violence when they reveal their newest member of LAX. That was about it for that segment. Jeremy Borash is in the ring. Introduce this year's Super X Cup. Will feature competitors from GFW Impact Wrestling, Noah, AAA, Wrestling Circus, and AAW. It's a single elimination X Division tournament, and told us of the matchups. Oh, just need to grab a drink. So, we've got Sammy Guevara against Drago. Love Drago. Was really, really impressed with him at Slammiversary. Still think he's got a lot of potential. There's a lot that could be done with him. And I'm looking forward to seeing more from him. I'm hoping he's going to be a regular appearance for Impact Wrestling. You know, I hope so. I think they'd be stupid just to use him for a short term and not see him again. Then also we've got ACH, who former Ring of Honor, and the rumours going around at the minute that he's signed a contract with Impact Wrestling. Hoping that's true because he is a brilliant wrestler. He's going against Andrew Evitt. We've got Tajiri. I'm not going to try and pronounce his last name. Taking on David Richards. Desmond Xavier taking on Idris Abraham. And that's our matches for the Super X. Now, I'm looking forward to these matches. I think it's brilliant, everyone that's in them. A lot of potential. And like I said, it feels like the old Impact. I get the old Impact vibe from this. So, we had our first matchup. We saw Abraham going against Desmond Xavier. You know, we saw so much in this match. You know, Xavier has amazing ability. You know, these two went back and forth. But it managed to be Xavier gets the victory in this. But wow, I'm impressed. Really am impressed. We saw Gail Kim with Mackenzie Mitchell saying she has a big announcement to make. Now, there's a lot of rumours saying that she's retiring. I really, really, really hope not. You know, she's been a pioneer in the X Division. Oh, sorry, messed up. A pioneer in the women's division. I think she could bring a lot more. You know, especially through this whole new era. So I'm hoping it's not true. But then again, we don't know how bad the injury was. That's the thing we don't know. We don't know if she was badly hurt. We don't even know what the injury was. There's been no news of it whatsoever. And that's the worry. You know, has she had to walk away because of this injury? And like I said, we don't know. One thing we don't know. Nothing has been said. And, you know, they haven't told us anything on this. So we don't even know what the injury was. But I do believe it is going to be her retiring. But if she does retire, I hope they move her into a role where she's working with the women. Also, we see Moose interviewing about his match against Noah Machi for the Impact Grand Championship next week. EC3 interrupts, declares that he should be #1 contender. over an outsider. EC3 tells Moose when he sees something, he wants it, he takes it. But Moose basically says you've got to go to the back of the line. So, good promo both sides. Now, this was surprising. Rebel versus Sienna. We haven't seen Rebel for a while. Last time we saw her, I think it was a match against ODB. But I was impressed with Rebel. She's improved. And that's a surprise. Seems like while she's been away, she's done more ring work and has improved. But in the end, we saw Sienna getting the victory. We did also see Rebel launch herself on KM as well. But yeah, that was about it for that match, really. We saw Alberto and Lashley, the rematch, the main event of the show, which didn't really have an end, to be honest. It was going really well, good solid. We saw a 619 from El Patron, very back and forth, and then LAX get involved. And LAX hold up Alberto Del Rio, making us believe Alberto is the member of LAX, which I slightly don't believe it. I don't see it myself. But like I said, I don't know what happened in tapings, but to me it was a good Impact. For the market, B+, if I'm completely honest. We got a lot from that match. I'm excited to next week. I really am excited. One thing I will talk about is that the Orlando Mayor declares Impact Wrestling Day on July the 5th. NXT haven't got that. Impact has. So there's going to be a holiday in Florida called Impact Wrestling Day, which I think is brilliant. And really, really good manoeuvre by Impact Wrestling. And I think that's it for the show. I will be back on later tonight reviewing Great Balls of Fire. We will be back again with Impact Review next week. And hopefully Charles should be feeling better and back with us. So it's been your host, Ashley Friend. And thanks for watching.